You have to be patient enough to give yourself time to say, you know what? If the outcome is what I really want, if this is the real goal that I have, what am I willing to do to evaluate the process over time, make adjustments, and be patient with the process? This week on the Rutledge Perspective, I want to talk a little bit about patience and timing and iteration. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that patience is not my superpower, at least when it comes to things that I want to do or want to accomplish. I have the patience of Job, it seems like, when I'm working with my clients and friends of mine. But man, patience with myself is not the best thing. And one of the things that has helped me tremendously is this gardening thing. And so I want you to bear with me for a minute as I walk you through this, because when it comes to leadership and how we work with our teams, how we lead them and guide them, and our ability to set expectations and move towards goals, not only is patience key, but there's also a need to recognize the importance of trial and error and the importance of understanding that some things just take a while. They are going to take iterations. They will take testing. One of the things for entrepreneurs that are doing this whole, marketing thing, who weren't in big corporations before, this whole A/B testing of ads and things like that makes me crazy, right? I don't want to have to test everything, right? I just want to go. But that idea of getting information back, understanding what's happening, reviewing that data, and then using it to inform your next step is really key. So about 3 years ago, my radio show producer, Jerry, conned me into starting gardening. Now, you're talking about somebody who does not do bugs at all. So digging in the dirt is not my thing. And my mom is a master gardener for the state of Texas, but I can't do it. I love flowers. I love the beauty, and the idea of having my own vegetables was really cool, but that whole dirt thing and no. So we were on the air talking about gardening. So of course, now I made a commitment. So I had to do it. So what does Laurel do? Laurel goes out and starts buying all kinds of stuff. Man, look, gardening is not a cheap hobby. Let me just tell you. So I bought all the stand-up things, right? I bought the big stand-up crate that you have to put, I don't know how many bags of soil in. And I bought the stand-up planter. I bought more stuff, y'all, and the trowels and the seeds and the stuff. And the first year I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, let me grow some stuff that I actually want to eat. So I put in okra, I put in bell peppers, and some really cool ones called striped peppers, candy cane peppers. I put in some cucumbers because I was really into cucumbers at the time. I bought some tomato plants. I did some spinach, right? Now, I didn't do any reading. I didn't do anything. So I planted my spinach from seeds. Everything else was plants. And it started coming up. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm actually getting spinach. But then it kind of died off because I hadn't paid attention. That was a little too late in the season to do spinach. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just do everything else. My okra started really growing. I mean, it was just fantastic. And then all of a sudden I got all these little black bugs over everything. And I'll have to start sharing pictures again. I'll put some out there after this podcast episode and just show the journey. All the bugs, all the things. So I'm out there with spray bottles with soap and wiping leaves off and just disgusted, right? And then my cucumbers just completely failed, didn't get a thing. Fine. That was year number 1. Year number 2, because we can't give up, right? Oh, and I bought a blueberry plant. And they told me the blueberries take 2 to 3 years. I'm like, okay, fine. And it grew and it got some leaves, and then I had to do pH stuff on it. I mean, y'all, it's a thing, okay? It's a thing. So year 2, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want okra again. I think I'm going to do just peppers. So I did Tabasco peppers. I did bell peppers, and I found this really cool chocolate bell pepper. So exciting. And I did some more cucumbers. And this time I bought like 4 plants because you have to know if they're male or female and all the things. And I bought some other peppers or something and some tomato plants. So the tomato plants just died, right? Again, waited too late, died. The Tabasco peppers were phenomenal. And y'all, let me tell you, making my own pepper sauce is amazing. I'm just saying. The bell peppers, all of a sudden, there was something eating all the leaves of my bell peppers. Everything, like everything was great. I'd come out the next day, all the leaves are gone, just stalks. All the leaves gone. I couldn't see anything. Nothing was coming up on my camera. Nothing. I would have these beautiful peppers that were ready to go. Come back, they're just gone, right? And I'm thinking it's squirrels because that's the other thing. These gangster squirrels in Houston had to do all that stuff the first year, right? I'm putting screens around things. I'm trying to get the squirrels out of there. It's a mess. But it's not the squirrels in year 2 because they're not big holes in the thing. Nothing, right? I put in some flowers. I did some things like that, right? So then I'm really disgusted. So I let it all go. Thought, you know what? I'm just not doing this again. It's too much, right? Love my Tabasco peppers, but it's just too much. But this year I thought, you know what, Laurel, year 3, come on, let's just do it. I dug up almost all the soil, started over, right? Put some new fresh soil in because I'm like, if there's something in the soil, let me just refresh. I refreshed the cucumber soil, got 4 plants this time. I'm like, you know what? Now I kind of know what to do. Then I bought some peppers. I spread them out. Tabasco peppers, I know they take longer, so they're doing fine. And I read somewhere that said if you plant marigolds, and I hate marigolds because they just smell awful to me, but if you plant marigolds, they kind of keep the bugs away. So I thought, okay, fine. Planted some marigolds in my planters and decided to just see what happened this year. Well, all of a sudden, my lilies from last year that are bulbs are coming up. My peppers, I've actually got peppers, green bell peppers that are actually the size or starting to be the size of real green bell peppers. I bought some new peppers called guajillo chili peppers. They are coming in. Y'all, it is so exciting. My cucumbers are all flowering. I've actually got tomatoes and I haven't seen tomato worms yet. Knock on wood. Haven't seen tomato worms. But this year, it is like finally things are coming. My blueberry plant that I thought was just gone and dead because I hadn't done anything with it is all of a sudden blooming because I cut it back to nothing, right? It is coming back and blooming. Everything is starting anew. And so here's the lesson in that, the leadership lesson from the garden. I had to go through and decide that I wasn't really done. Decide that I really did have a goal of growing some things that I could eat, right? Because there's just there's pleasure in having grown your own food, but there's also other things around the value system around growing food. So that was 1. 2, I don't give up that easy, right? And I'll be danged if I wasn't going to get some bell peppers that were really good bell peppers at some point and some cucumbers. And so I decided that part of the lesson that I learned was there is something in the soil that is preventing success. There is something that is hindering the plants from doing what they're supposed to do, right? Not enough sun, not enough water, not enough something. And so by being willing to take that information, pay attention, get out of my feelings and just say, okay, well, the goal is to have some plants that actually grow fruit. And the environment in which to do that clearly is not working. So I can either just keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting irritated because it's not working, or I can make adjustments and try again. And that's what I did, right? So I dug up the soil. I put in new soil. I put in new plant food, got some new plants early in the season, talked to the people at Buchanan's about what I should and should not get at the time. And I replanted them, right? And now I'm getting really great harvest. And so what does that mean for us as leaders? What does that mean for those of us who are trying to build businesses or who are trying to make organizations move forward and our departments function well? What it means is, 1, we have to be willing to go and evaluate and digest and pull apart what happened. Those postmortems are so important. And it's not about blame. It's about gathering information and understanding what occurred in the process that prevented the outcomes that we wanted, right? What did we do in terms of setting expectations? Who did we hire on our teams? Who did we keep on our teams that maybe would have been better and more successful in another place? What external factors happened that we either weren't prepared for or didn't recognize in time so that we could adjust? What in our planning did not give us enough flexibility so that we could adapt, right? And flex to changing situations. The lessons learned are that nothing is a straight line and things take time, right? Learning takes time. You are not going to learn that new language tomorrow, right? It takes time to learn a new language. It takes time to get a department, especially if you've got a new department and new people. It takes time to get things running smoothly. And that doesn't mean you may not have those times in the very beginning where things are just rocking and rolling, but there's always ebbs and flows. And so you have to be patient enough to give yourself time to say, you know what? If the outcome is what I really want, if this is the real goal that I have, what am I willing to do to evaluate the process over time, make adjustments, and be patient with the process? And again, patience is not my superpower, not even close. But what I'm finding is it's not so much patience as defined as just sit and wait. That sit and wait is hard. Patience is also defined as sit, watch, evaluate, understand, adjust, and move again. Right? Patience is about allowing yourself to be open to information and data that you can then use to adjust. Patience enables you to think broadly about what the options are, right? I am now in year 3 of this gardening thing. I'm surprised, one, at how much self-care it is. Being out there, tending to my plants, cutting off the leaves, all these leaf miners that are making me crazy. Although I'm told they don't really do anything to the fruit, but still, I don't like the way it looks. It is teaching me patience. It's teaching me resilience. It's teaching me and giving me the opportunity to just get out in the sun and breathe. And then to see things growing that I did, right? That I put in there. Well, God did it, but that I put in there and helped along and nurtured to make happen. It's the same with teams, right? True leaders are so invested in the success of their team that their success is the greatest gift that they could give, right? Being more invested in your team's success than you are in your own. I have such pleasure when I see people who have worked for me before, or who I've worked with, or who I've coached or supported do amazing things. I love that. It feels so good to see their success because I know their struggle, right? I saw it. And I also saw something in them that was so incredible. And I wanted them to see it and to stand on that and move forward. And to see them doing that is just amazing and so uplifting to see. Give yourself the opportunity to take some time, to be patient, to recognize that everything doesn't happen tomorrow. And just because it doesn't mean it won't. It just means it may not be time right now. And if you are truly moving into your purpose, if you are moving into that thing that you believe is your divine calling, whatever divine is for you, then having the strength and the courage and the patience to continue to pursue it, to get information that says, maybe I need to tweak something a little bit, or maybe I need to sit still for a moment. If you are living into that divine purpose, if you're focused on the ultimate goal, then those detours, those little side trips, those pauses simply become stepping stones along the path to the thing that you are going to achieve, right? Because you are claiming it as your purpose. So I encourage you to have some patience. I encourage you to be intentional. I encourage you to really think about how you evaluate and review and give yourself pause to think about where you're going to move the next and allow for the intention of learning and adapting and flexibility. Allow for the opportunity to take what happens and adjust and learn from that, because it's not going to happen immediately. It just isn't. Even though we love instant gratification, right? It's not going to happen immediately. And as the old saying goes, those things that are worth having are worth waiting for. I believe that that thing that you want, that career you want, that business that you're building, if you are putting good intent, if you are planning, if you are aware, if you are aligned with who you are and setting really, really clear visions, then your action is going to follow. And that action is going to be flexible and adaptable and intentional. It is going to be action that helps you empower yourself and others to get to that ultimate goal. So, as you go into this week, have some patience. Have some patience with yourself. Have some patience with the process. Have some patience with where you're trying to go and how you're trying to get there, right? If you know what, the how is going to take care of itself. And really be mindful of what you're seeing. Be intentional about that evaluation and take all that information and data and let it inform you about what your next step should be. Thank you so much for tuning into the Rutledge Perspective this week. I enjoy this time with you guys more than I can say, and I am so appreciative of every download, every listen. And if this made sense to you, please share it with someone who you think could get something from it as well. And be sure to check out the Rutledge Perspective podcast and all the other episodes on your favorite podcast platform. Stay tuned as well, because I will be doing a live launch of my new website soon and hopefully doing a launch party around that. And I hope to see many of you there, because I'll be talking about the services that are new for 2023. Take care. Have a great week this week. Give yourself some time and some patience. Go out and dig in the dirt, get some sun, and we'll catch you next time. Bye. You have been listening to the Rutledge Perspective podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and for connecting. You can find previous episodes of the podcast on my website at laurelrutledge.com/podcast. You can also find me on social media at Laurel K. Rutledge and/or the Rutledge Perspective. And I'd love your perspective on the things we talk about. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, just let me know. And please share this podcast with someone in your village who may need this little piece of perspective today. And if you're so inclined, I would really appreciate a 5-star rating and review on the platform of your choice. Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews are particularly helpful. Thank you again for listening. Take care.